It's not why I got the tablet. I just have a new tablet.
All right. So last we left off, guys, you were in the Tomb of Moving Stones. Um, you guys found the oh man, hold on, let me open it up. I already forgot his name.
It's been a while.
It has. All right, I'm gonna throw it open here.
Cat's meowing. I need to find out why.
Well, that does look quite a bit different.
All right, so you guys found Larrick, which was the magic arcane user in the tomb where there was all the stones that were stationary. Um, and you guys were able to overtake him quite quickly, uh, much to the DM's frustration. And then you guys went back. You tied him to I believe, the statue in one of the rooms, and you headed back. Three of you were left in the room with Braylon, the young boy that was pinned down by a bunch of large rocks and boulders by his own father and other believers of the town, a part of that group, which he did name several of them. And then Grund was also in the room, which was the a little bit slower orc. Uh, not a lot going on there, and I believe it was Kendra and Flick. You guys went back around. You were going to try and exit around the opposite way after hearing a very large booming sound that sounded like earth shifting somewhere down the way. So that is where we left off. And actually, let's do this. So
There's a new game in Roll20. I've got to fix all my settings.
Kendra and Flick.
Yes.
You guys are at the end of the hallway, and you were just able to open the door, Kendra. I believe you got pissed off and were able to open it with no issue.
Yep. I also cannot control my token.
Oh, that's right.
Same.
Let's do this. Back.
Our tokens that are now much smaller.
I knew there was something I forgot. All right. Tokens. You are controlled by Galen. And
So,
see.
is everything actually twice the size we thought it was last time?
Yeah,
Probably.
basically.
So half of what we did should not have worked.
Yeah. But it's great. It's good fun.
Live and learn.
Oh, are there more strange arcane symbols on the map?
Look, I'm about to lose my mind with those stupid symbols. Ah, I can't believe you pulled that out. That's so great. It's so great to see certain personalities come out and spot certain things.
My bad.
All right. That'll just be me for now and you. And then
If I can stop accidentally closing the game.
controlled by.
No, keep it closed. It makes it more interesting.
What?
Keep it closed. It makes it more interesting if you don't know what's going on.
I had that issue in my other game last week where somebody had to try to run Roll20 on an old iPad.
All right, you guys should have control of your characters now.
Cool. Yes, I
Yep.
do.
All right. Okay, so. Oh, wait a second. Sorry.
out how weak I was.
All right.
You got that dwarf statue move just fine.
So, Rowan and Sora and Liam, you guys are in the room with Braylon. Kendra and Flick, you are at the first statue, which you have opened. You've pushed it open so that the doorway is open and you are able to push through.
Okay.
Hey,
Well, he said there was a sound, so we're gonna go this way. Oh, I need
Okay.
to add my
Wait.
little Hilo.
As soon as you come around the door, you come face to face with a young little girl. She is standing there covered in like splotches of dirt and dust. She has short, bobbed, blonde hair, straight, and big blue eyes, and she is just looking at you, startled.
Oh. Hello.
Hi. Are are you the ones that took out the necromancer and helped the constable?
Yes, we are.
Oh my god. Thank the lords. You have to come, hurry, quick. There was a cave in down here. A lot of the kids are hurt. Some of the adults too. They're trying to get us out, but how did you get down here?
we were already down here, Flick says, rounding the statue.
Where'd my piece go?
Oh,
You died.
there you go.
Piece was non-lethally removed.
The tower was a black hole. You're gone.
Damn it, not again.
But how did you get down here? Do you know of another way out?
I think
Possibly.
we've only found one way so far, but there was another way behind us that may lead back to the surface.
She kind of walks up and looks past you.
What are you doing down here?
I told you there was a cave in down the way. There's a lot of people hurt. A lot of other kids. We were playing in the middle of the road and it caved in.
That's not ideal. Let's take you back to the rest of our group. They should be able to keep you safe while we investigate what's going on.
Well, what about the rest?
Kendra, you make your way out to the rest. See if any are injured.
Understood.
All right.
Our pickle selling friend turned off the traps here, right?
He was the one that released them.
Yeah.
He had control of them. All right. So you are headed back that way. So she will follow you. She doesn't seem very frightened anymore now that she knows who you are. So she follows you down the hallway. And as you guys enter that Flick, as you enter the room and she follows you in, her eyes are instantly drawn to Braylon, which was the young boy pinned under the rocks, and she instantly runs towards him. Braylon, oh, you soft-hearted dimwit, what are you doing down here? And she kneels down next to him, and he just looks at her, and you could see tears start to just come to his eyes, and as he recognizes her, and he's just like, my dad, he was mad at me the day we were playing. And you see the young girl's eyes kind of searching for a bit, and she's like, are you talking about 3 days ago? You've been missing for 3 days. Have you been down here the whole time? Did he do this to you? And he nods at her, And she turns and looks at the rest of you in the room. And with like tears kind of welling in her eyes as well. Please, can you help him?
We've tended his wounds, but he did not want to leave the pile for the moment.
She turns back to Braylon and she like places her hands gently on his shoulders and looks right at him and says, Braylon, you idiot. Your father doesn't know anything he's talking about. You can't let him do this kind of thing to you. This isn't right. No parent does this to their child. You can't earn his love this way. And you just see more tears come to his eyes as he just kind of nods and like leans his head against her arm. And she just brushes his hair.
It seems like there was a bit of a cave-in out there. Several people have fallen in. Kendra has gone to tend to them for the moment, but she seemed fine and I wanted to bring her here where it seemed stable for the moment. Grond, can you look after her while we tend to the rest of the people?
Grund help. Yes, grund help. And he kind of waves at the young girl who looks at him and says, oh, Grund, what are you doing down here? Don't tell me you're involved in this too. And you watch him just kind of sheepishly shrug his shoulders up and he kind of like retreats into himself. They said to. They told me to. I did what they said. And she kind of the little girl pats Braylon, gets up and walks up to Grund and stands with both arms on her hips and stares up at him until he takes like a knee before her and kind of kneels down before her and looks her. And she grabs his little fuzz hair on his chin and pulls it closer and says, you know better. These aren't the kind of people you should be involved in, Grund. Who is the one that helped you when the other merchants were trying to steal your pickles and sell them for their own stands? And Grund just kind of looks around for a bit. You were, pal. She says, that's right. And who's the one that's keeping you safe? And the one that tells and comes and talks to you? And he says, you are. And why do we do that? And Grund kind of scratches at his head and says, because you're my friend? You bet your ass I'm your friend. And she kind of gives a little tug on his beard. And she says, now you go help them and do whatever they tell you. And you stop this believer's nonsense. And Grun nods, gets up, and walks out to go help Kendra.
Well, Rowan, Liam, I'm sure we should follow.
You two go ahead. I'll be with you in just a moment. Or you three.
Wait,
This place seems much bigger than I remember it.
are none of you going to help him get these rocks off?
Yes, let's give him a hand. Braylon, are you going to come out of the rocks now?
He nods his head.
All right, let's help him out then.
I'll help.
Okay. As you guys go ahead and make some strength checks, because these are pretty heavy boulders.
13.
Okay.
Strength is my only bad stat.
18.
Okay. So, Flick, you're struggling a little bit, but you're able to kind of help. And then Sora, no issues. You are able to lift them and toss them aside. As you guys are lifting them, you can see and hear um, Braylon crying out as some of the boulders are lifted off and blood starts coming back into his limbs. And you can see where the boulders had possibly, especially on one of his arms, there was some deep, deep bruising. I mean, it looks like it's definitely broken on one of the arms, bruising on the legs, on his belly where he had a stone. Uh, and you just see the young girl kind of brushing his hair back and whispering nonsensicals to him and telling him it's going to be okay. And finally, you guys are able to pull all the rocks off of him. And you hear the young girl telling him, "It's okay. It's okay. You're not going back to him. You're not. I don't care what you think you're going to do. You're not going back to him. You're coming back home with me, or we'll find you a place to hide. It doesn't matter. We'll take you to Lamira. She'll hide you. He can't get to you now." So you guys are able to free him.
Just a quick note, I think I missed it. Liam, you said he wasn't feeling well. Is he going to try later, or is he just out tonight?
No, he's not feeling good. He's out tonight.
Okay. I'm going to see if I can disarm the lever that sets the whole hallway on fire. I'd
Okay.
rather not someone pull that by mistake.
Well, what you're seeing are there's chains. There are 10 chains, 5 on each side of the doorway that you're standing in front of. And each one is attached. Is attached to like a cage that's along the ceiling where it's dark. And when he had released one the last game, it released one of the cages and it slammed down. So it's a trap mechanism basically, and he
I
pulled it
thought
back
it was
up.
like shooting fire.
No. Yeah, it's a bunch of cages on top.
I suppose that's far less something to be worried about than fire shooting through the hallway.
Yeah.
But, okay, never mind then. I misremembered what it was.
You're okay. All right, Kendra, what are you doing? You're headed into the area?
Yep, I'm just gonna go in because there's people who are hurt.
Yep. As you get to this doorway, and you guys had left the doorway open, so when you peek through, and as you got closer, you could hear a lot of crying, young crying voices, a couple older, especially like I think there were 2 women voices you could hear crying out and calling out, and then a lot of voices coming from above. And as you come into the chamber, you do see there is just a huge mound of rocks and dirt, some boulders. This is where there was a cave in that just hit right where that little white circle is on the screen. That's where the cave in is. Um, and you see interspersed, some pinned beneath some of the rocks, children and a couple adults, mostly women. The voices of men and other women and adults you hear coming from up higher above, where you can see uh, small light coming down. It's really hard to see because it's still night up on the upside, but there are dim light coming down.
All right, I'm going to approach and immediately look around and who is at people who are the most injured.
Okay. So you look around and you start. Are you trying to uncover them or get them organized?
The immediate surrounding any first off any adults
Okay.
uh, that are badly hurt. Are there any that are like very catastrophically hurt.
So you see a younger woman. She is off to the side. She is trying to move a big kind of clay mound off of a child that's pinned, and she's just crying. The child is wailing, and you can hear the woman hiccuping kind of, and the child's just like, "Mama, mama," as she's trying to move it and unable to. Um, that's the most immediate thing in your view.
Okay, then the child and does the woman look her or just the child?
I mean, they all kind of all the kids that you see standing around, and a couple of the other adults, they're scratched up. They are covered in dirt, and you could tell they're probably going to start bruising, but otherwise they don't look very very injured.
Okay, running in and making that assessment, Kendall will then shout, "If you have the strength to do so, start uncovering the dirt. There could be someone else trapped inside." And she's going to go over to where the child is pinned by the clay and start to try to move it off.
Okay, so all amidst the chaos, and you coming in and just laying out an order and being a new voice, all the heads turned right to you, and they immediately heard a calm, steady voice, and they just started following the direction. They started, even the other kids, they started digging in the dirt and trying to look for any hands or other arms, other heads to try and help.
I will also command my drift globe to be above the mound so all of them have light.
Okay. Yeah, so that helps immensely. At first, they're kind of startled, and you hear a couple of the kids like gasping out. But as you do that, and they are able to see, and they realize that this isn't something terrible about to fall on them, they start reinvesting and digging. And you hear voices coming from above. And as you look up, you do see the opening. And you can see several faces looking over. Not a lot, but there one face you recognize is the constable, which you would be able to see them all with your drift globe up there. It's reflecting up quite far, um, and you see him looking down, and he is able to see you, and he instantly is like, "We're trying to get some ropes. Just hang tight. If you can help try undig out anyone else that might look injured, set them aside. We'll be down to you guys in just a moment." And you hear just chaos up top. People screaming and wailing and crying.
All right,
And
I'm ready to help this child.
okay. So you pull at it, and go ahead and make a strength roll.
Yay. 17.
Okay. You are able to pull at that thing, and you are able to roll it off. And then you start digging in the dirt, and you hear the child cry out. The mother, just as soon as it rolls off, just like places a hand on your shoulder and squeezes as you both just start digging the rest of the dirt out. And
Does this child look extremely injured from?
um, I mean, he's coughing a lot. You can tell the wind's been knocked out of her. Um, but she doesn't look really injured. She has some scratches and a little bit of blood here and there, but
Then the from what I can tell, the two most injured people, I'm going to metamagic twin spell cure wounds on both of them.
ooh, all right.
Cure wounds is a D8, so that's 7 HP that they get back.
Okay.
Probably way more than they need.
Yeah.
But
So they
Like twice their hit point pool.
yeah. So
Well,
they suddenly feel this warmth just overwhelm and go through their body like a warm tingling sensation, and um, the mother just pulls the child into her arms and stands up and is just weeping and saying, "Thank you, thank you, thank you." Um, as she just kind of falls to her knees and just cuddles her child. Um, at this point, you hear some gasps and a couple screams from some of the children to your left, and you realize that a giant orc has arrived and is now digging, and I mean, just like going to town on the dirt and pulling, basically like one handing, yanking children out of the dirt, setting them down, going for the next. Um, but they seem like very frightened of him at first, but some of them recognize him then. A couple of them, they're like, "It's okay, it's okay. It's just Grund. It's just Grund." And so they start by his side and help digging as well.
Oh, good. I thought I had to deal with that.
Back in the
Yep.
pinning room, just
Yep.
turning to Rowan. Rowan, can you collect our elderly friend from the other room and the two of you children? Please do not go into that room. We don't have it entirely secured yet. Sora, we should probably go out there and help with whatever's going on.
You see the young girl kind of frown at you. What's in the other room?
Oh,
We
nothing.
weren't the only things down here when we came in.
The girl kind of gives you a flat look. I'm not a child. I know I am a child, but I'm not stupid.
Very well. There's a lot of dead bandits in there and a lot of mess.
So try not to disturb the bodies. That's all we ask.
You see the girl reach behind, like under a shirt, and she like pulls a knife out, and she's like, "I'll keep him safe. No worries. Anything comes through that door."
Good, we'll trust you.
Are you old enough to have that?
Yes.
A knife is not such a strange thing for a child to have these days. How else are you supposed to hunt the snakes?
I'm sure you're right. Pell, is it?
That's
Stay
right.
safe. Stay safe, young friend.
And you see her kind of, her shoulders go back proudly, and she gives a little smile. You as well.
Sora.
You as well, Sora.
Back to the big room.
All right. So you guys are headed towards the big room. Just Flick, or the rest of you following too?
Hey, Flick, did you want me to get the old guy that was sitting there?
Yeah, we probably want all hands on deck.
Alright,
guy
I
is
go
thoroughly scared.
into the other room to get this older guard gentleman that's been sitting there.
All right. So you are you dragging him with you? Basically, he's
Yeah.
scared witless. Basically, I mean, he's legs are rubber and jelly. He's surrounded by dead bodies. Um, you guys have thoroughly rocked his world.
I basically go to him and say, "This may not be the best room for you to be. Why don't you come along with me to a better environment?"
You just see his like trembling lip and a little bit of drool coming down as he's just like, "Please don't kill me. Please don't kill me. Please don't kill me."
You made a friend.
Oh no, I think she froze up again.
Oh. I thought that face looked suspicious.
Or she was just trying to to be very, very still.
Yeah. He's like, it knocks him out of his weird panic state, and he's like, "Are you all right?"
Okay. Every time your system freezes up, Rowan, it's the other half of your ASMR nature connecting with you.
Oh no, she's frozen
Right now.
again.
Oh, well, that's happening. Let's get a rope up there, shall we?
All right, so you guys
To,
enter into this scene. You quickly take in what's going on. You see Kendra tending and helping Grund at this point, and helping. There's kind of a small little crowd of several children, maybe like 3 older women, kind of standing around them, and you hear all the chaos up top as well.
how,
Go ahead.
how high is the hole from the floor?
It's probably about 20 feet.
I got that much rope.
And you see Constable Harbuck stick his head over again, and he says, "All right, we've got a rope, but I don't know how safe this is going to be. The ground around here is really loose. I don't want to have another cave-in. We've already lost a couple more people falling down there."
Is there anything secure further from the hole you can secure it to?
And he disappears from the lip, and you hear yelling and hollering, and he looks back down. "Yeah, we can have it secured, but I don't know how well this is going to hold up, this lip, anymore."
Question. Is the hall that we initially came through from the tunnel in that workyard, is that collapsed too? Or is that perfectly fine?
Perfectly fine.
Oh. Constable, I think we have a way out.
And he kind of stops mid rant, and he looks down. He's like, "What's that?"
We may have a way out.
He hears both of you say it at the exact same time. He's like, "There's another way down there? Do you know a way out? That's going to be the best bet. Doesn't matter. That's the best bet. If you can take them out that way, this ground's too weak. I'm pushing everyone back a ways. Can you get everyone out, though? Or is there anyone too weak to go?"
We should have enough hands down here, but if we might be able to get a few more people down here to help, that would be appreciated. I can help in securing the rope on a difficult lip. Just a moment. And
How many? Can I getting a survey? How many people are here roughly?
So there's about 6 kids, and there's about 3 women. Not a lot, but in the cavern itself, with all those voices, the crying and the weeping, and all the noise, the screams, and the worried shouts up above, it's just echoing off the walls, so it makes it sound a lot more chaotic than it is.
Constable, toss the rope down. Just a moment.
Is anyone too weak to walk?
And you see a little 4-year-old looking over and holds the hand straight up, and then the older kid right next to him just pushes it down. "No, we're all right. We're good." And the older one kind of picks up the 4-year-old and holds him. "We're good."
Okay.
Constable,
The
there's a passage we believe this passage leads to the basement access of the wagon works. If you can enter from there, you should be able to help escort these children out.
You see the constable looking slightly confused for a moment. He said, "Which wagon works?"
The bad one.
There's a moment of just like, "What?" And then he's like, "Fuck." And he's like, he turns his head. You see his head kind of turn, and he's like, you hear him shouting towards one of you what do you assume is one of his constables. He's like, "Get me Ilmeth right the fuck now!" And he's like, "All right, you guys head towards that exit. Get as many people as you can over there. We're headed down. We'll be meeting you in there. All right." And he disappears.
All right.
All right. So we'll say at this point, Rowan has we'll say she's strength check lifted Farragustus basically and kind of dragged him along with her, and
Ding.
there she be.
Maybe.
Yay.
Ugh.
All right. So essentially, just to recap real quick. So the constable and the others are going to meet the rest of your group at the entrance to Ilmeth, where you guys first arrived. I went ahead and just had you drag Baragustus into the room with Braylon and Pell. Do you want to join the rest
Okay.
of your crew, or what would you like to do?
So Braylon and the little girl want to stay here right now.
Well, at the moment, we're getting everyone out, so you don't know that.
They watch
Should I-
you drag this man in, and Pell's eyes just kind of narrow, and she shakes her head like at the not at you, Rowan, but at the person you're dragging behind you.
Do you not like this gentleman?
Not if he's involved in everything going on down here. I mean, I knew he was a part of the Believers, but... And she just shakes her head and looks down at Braylon.
But we have no proof that he was involved further than just being a believer. So for
It's
now,
not like he resisted us.
I'm giving him another chance. Will you walk along with me to get out of here?
You see Pell kind of look down at Braylon for a moment, a little worried, and then she stands up and helps him to his feet, being very gentle. He struggles to stand. Even though he had a lot of healing, he's still weak, very weak. Pell kind of looks between the two, between Baragustus and Braylon, and she walks over to Braylon and holds her knife up, and she says, "You're going to follow us out of here." And she walks behind him and holds the knife into basically his butt cheeks. And he's just wide-eyed, and he's like, "Huh? Yeah, sure thing, Pell. Whatever you say." And Pell says, "Would you mind carrying Braylon? I'll get this fool."
And I walk over and pick up Braylon.
He cries out a little because he is still sore and very bruised, and his arm just looked kind of pretty damaged. So you pick him up, though, with ease, and you guys will travel down the hallway towards the rest of the group. All right. All right. So you guys wind up with the rest of them out here. And
Rowan, it appears there was a cave-in. That's how they all ended up down here. The constable is meeting us at the entrance, but I'm also concerned about that other passage that was back there. here, so I'd like to see these people to safety and perhaps see what might be back there.
I agree with that decision.
All right. So we'll say you guys get halfway down the hallway. You are basically leading this group and helping anyone who seems weaker, assisting them through. Rowan, you're carrying Braylon, and Pell is keeping Baragusis at knife point, walking him down. And finally, you reach the end of the hall where Constable Harbuck meets you with several of his constables and just a couple other townspeople that you probably may recognize just from seeing them about town. Um, the constable's just like, oh, Lord be praised, as he sees you guys. And he walks straight up to you, Kendra, because you're the first one that happened to be there. And he just rests a hand on you and says, God's praise you. I'm so happy you guys were down here. I don't know what the fuck you were doing down here, but I don't even give a shit. And he waves his constables down. He's like, come on, guys. And they all come through and they start helping carry anyone that needs it. Um, and you guys assist everyone out of the area to the top side. Do you guys want to follow out?
I would like to see what that other tunnel we saw at the other end of this was.
Okay.
Constable, sir.
And he nods at you. Yeah.
We were down here investigating something we're hoping is not similar to what was at Lance Rock. We weren't quite finished when all this happened. If you can see these people to safety, we'd like to make sure that there's nothing else that might cause problems down here.
He kind of nods a bit, kind of hurries the rest of them on and shifts a little bit closer to you, away from where the rest are moving on. He's like, is there anything I need to worry about?
We're not sure yet. That's why we want to keep looking.
All right. I got to get the rest of these people to safety. You guys need to be safe. Be careful down here. I have no idea what these tunnels are, but they've clearly been here for a long time.
Ask our friend here, Baragustas. He seems to be quite knowledgeable and should be able to fill you in on everything.
And at that point, Baragusis is coming up, kind of tripping forward, and the constable grabs him by the shirt and says, what's his involvement in all this? And he says that to you, Flick.
We believe he was here as a door guard, trying to stop us from going further. It was shortly before we encountered him, we were accosted by a group of bandits.
The constable looks down the ways and waves one of his deputies down, and he basically strong arms, throws Baragustus towards him. He says, lock him up. And he looks and sees Pell with the knife out, just who looks up at him and just goes, smiles with a big grin, waves, puts her knife away, and then scurries off after the rest of them. And you see Harbeck just kind of chuckles and is like, all right, well, you guys need to be careful down here. I'm serious. We don't know what's down here.
We're hoping to find out so we don't have to worry.
All right. We're going to be topside for a bit. I'm closing off the entrance. If you need to come out, we should probably have some kind of safe word. What's your name again? I apologize.
Flick is fine.
All right. If you guys are coming out, just say Flick and I'll know that it's you guys and we'll let you out, okay? Otherwise, I'm closing this down. I don't want anyone near coming down to these tunnels, all right?
Yes, I'd say post someone by the door in the cavern beneath the cave-in. That way, if someone does fall in and prepared, they would at least be attended to.
All right, sounds good. All right, be careful. And he starts following after the rest of his group. All right. So the rest of them go off, and you even see Grund kind of nod to the rest of you as they leave. You guys headed back.
Yes, Kendra, dear, you saw that door more than I did. Was there anything of note that you could recall?
Only that it went to a staircase, right?
The door
Or
at
was
the
it
end. You opened it, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah, you just saw a dark tunnel.
It's a tunnel.
We'll figure out how to get you night vision one of these days.
He's got his glowing orb.
Now, I'd hate to keep them waiting too long, and if there's anything there, they're probably well alerted to us by now. So let's at least move carefully.
And Bull knows ahead.
Liam
kidding.
sees this and is briefly like, "What? Okay," and he follows right after you.
He's not listening for the wind?
No, he trusts Rowan, and Sora is right after him.
Just
I suppose
go.
we should go as well, Kendra, dear.
Yep, she's going.
All right, so you guys head back into the room. As you guys are just pale male like Naruto running down the hallway, Liam looks back and notices Kendra is also running and kind of bears down and tries to run faster.
Oh, fuck
and
no. I'm going
yeah,
faster.
you guys just start having like this race of going down, and
Don't slip on corpses.
yeah, you like jump, leap over corpses, like they're, leaving bloody footsteps everywhere. You're just,
I feel like I
Hope
hear
you are.
this commotion since I was like the first one, so I'm gonna be like right at the end here.
uh-huh.
Like, who's gonna reach me and touch my hand first?
Oh,
Like, I totally adore the fact that they have this little competition.
Nope, you shouldn't have said that. All right, I'm rolling. Are we rolling?
All right.
Not Russian, just following.
Let's say, yeah, so Rowan's got her hands both out.
Yep.
Yeah, both
Yep.
out. Neck to neck, Liam and Kendra. Let's just do a D20.
Okay. I got. Oh no.
No athletics check?
We'll add dexterity.
That doesn't help me very much. We have the same dex, so it doesn't help.
What'd you get?
Would it literally be athletics?
I got.
Oh.
I got.
Yeah, it would be athletics.
Why would you say that?
All right, so athletics. Thank you,
That's
Galen.
a 3.
All right, well, Liam rolled a 19. So
Wow.
as you guys are running like neck and neck, Liam all of a sudden kind of like maybe kicks his foot out a little bit and like elbow checks you a bit so that you dodge it, but you definitely are falling behind now, and he leaps through the door and smacks Rowan's hand, like basically doing a flip over as he smacks her hand and lands like this and looking straight at you, Kendra.
It appears all that listening to the wind has helped.
He stands up and just kind of straightens the shirt that's not really his, adjusts the pants that aren't his, and then it's like he just turns and then walks towards the corner.
Just a moment.
It would have went 2 if we cheated.
Rowan, you just had to egg them on, didn't you?
How you make friends, right?
I suppose in some cultures.
Little friendly competition didn't hurt anyone.
Kendra, my money's on you next round.
Oh, so now we're gambling.
It's called incentive.
Mm.
It's fine. I met him when it's fine.
Liam like looks at you like
So you're fixing these bets now, are you?
all right, so you guys come to the entrance here and it's still open. Rowan,
Dark hallway. Now that the rest of us are there, can we see
Yes.
something?
make a
Oh Lord.
sorry. Make a dexterity check for me.
Okay. $18.
Okay. So you guys come up to the entrance and it's open. It's dark down there. What do you want to do?
I guess I'm gonna start slowly going forward and having my uh, warhammer and shield just like at the ready. I'm just like moving forward with it out in front of me.
All right. So you head down there and make sure I'm on the right. Yeah.
Can we see anything?
Oh, yeah.
That doesn't sound promising.
All right. Yeah. You guys come to the hallway and it's just a dim, dark hallway. You're able to travel down it without any issue. What you do notice is it starts to incline a bit as you near the end, and you realize the dank, kind of staunch air starts to lighten a bit, and it tastes and smells a bit cleaner and fresher, and you realize that you're coming to the open air. And you guys come to a area where there is a boarded up, almost like where you had come in at Ilmouth. It's a boarded up entrance with some very crickety old steps that look well traveled, and yeah, they're closed boarded doors, and they look very tough.
Well, we're here to investigate.
Hey, Liam, could you do your detective skills for traps?
Liam looks at Rowan and kind of gives a nod to her, like, "Why, yes, yes, I can do that." And he walks forward, kind of as he passes Kendra. He's kind of like, mm-hmm. And he will do a. He'll check for traps here. Okay. Yeah, he does not find anything. He is searching in all the corners. He is fiddling with the doors, and actually, while he's up there, he looks for any locks or anything. And you see him kind of shove at the door, and when that doesn't work, he stands up and kind of tries to push it up with his shoulder. And the doors just kind of go, they barely move. I'm not sure these are going to open.
It's wood, right?
It is wood. It is wood. Very
I
sturdy
start
wood.
backing away.
And
That isn't wood.
as he sees Rowan backing away, you see Liam suddenly seems to understand. He's like, you see him just kind of slowly come down and along the wall and just kind of go around Kendra, and he's like, have at it.
Firebolt.
This seems to be your thing.
Hold now. Let's take this a little more sensibly, shall we?
It's wood. I burn it. Firebolts.
Too late. That's why I backed up.
You know, as
This,
Kendra readies the fireball, Flick is just going to gently tap the dear sorcerer on the back of the head with a crowbar, past Sora.
Yeah.
Yes, I do have a crowbar.
Firebolts.
the second Liam sees the firebolt come out, he like is booking it back down the hallway. He wants nothing to do with that. And he goes
We don't know.
back towards Sora.
We don't know where this door leads or who might be on the other side. It's underneath an orphanage.
All right.
When we put the fire out.
Not lethally, I imagine.
Fire bends to my whim. I can do whatever I want with it.
It's the wanting part we're a little worried about. You hear
Yes.
Liam scream from behind.
It's a 14 to attack the door.
All right. So you cast that on the door and it just lights it up. It like the flames just hit it and I mean the flames come back because you're in a small tunneled area and it's, you know, the oxygen's all coming out of there. The flames come back at you. It definitely hits the door and it is completely burned and weakened and boards start falling and such.
Cool. Control flames get that down and just extinguished.
Okay, so you
Are you fast enough to not take fireball to the eyebrows?
the second the fireball like engulfs the area, you see Kendra after she does this, she suddenly brings her other hand up and you see the flames almost follow the whims of her fingers as they flare out and then come back in and they just stay within there and you can feel the air as if it was the heat coming back around the rest of the party but then comes back towards where the flames are being controlled and they eat away at the door and the boards start falling down, specifically one that has a big metal lock on it, and you hear it clang, clang, clang as it falls to the stone ground. And you have an open entrance.
Piece of cake.
I guess that's one way to handle a door.
Why is it always destruction? Why can't we just, push it harder?
I
Work
was
smarter,
about to
not harder.
suggest that, but
Is
I
it
feel like
necessarily
Kendra needs to
smarter
let
if
out some
everybody
frustration.
Is it necessarily smarter if everybody in a quarter mile knows where we are?
The big hole didn't already alert everyone?
At least that we didn't do.
Well, either way,
As they're
Kendra.
bantering, I go ahead and walk back around.
Liam goes around you as well, and yeah, he goes around you and follows Rowan out.
Liam, we'll move quietly, so if something's up there, you go first, since you have your sneak attack.
He cuts real close to you and he's like, that sounds like a good idea. And he flips a copper to Kendra. Good work back there. And you see him kind of hop up and out into the dark.
And I'm right on his heels.
Yeah.
Well, there's no time like the present. Let's go.
Even though I am not stealthy whatsoever.
I'll wait for the not stealthy one to go out before I stealth out.
Because I got that nice little scale mail on. Clang, clang,
Yeah,
clang.
I'm not stealthy because I'm very tall.
All right. So
All
you
slow and
guys.
climb on.
We said we were moving slow, not stealthily.
All right. So you guys come back um, to the upside, and it's still dark out, but you can tell you've crested the. It's starting to get to where it's the early morning hours. You can very distantly see that kind of haze of light where you just know the sun is about to come up over the horizon. There's a chill on the air. Um, and you guys find yourself in this area where it's a wide open rock, and there's some water puddles, and you can instantly recognize that this is a quarry. And it's one of the quarries within Red Larch. It's the northern one.
Looks like it was just another hidden entrance.
I
Isn't
feel
there
like
something going on in a quarry?
What was that, Kendra?
Wasn't there something going on in a quarry? Wasn't that one of the things that we were told about?
I would guess it was more rumors of people going in and out of someplace they weren't supposed to.
Yeah, yep, you guys would remember one of the I don't remember who it was, but one of the villagers had mentioned that there was a quarry worker had mentioned they had seen masked figures off in the distance at the lip of the quarry sometimes at night. They would see them standing there watching them. And it was one of the main reasons why they shut the quarry down in the evening. They used to run it throughout the night, but the workers became too frightened of why, who these figures were, and why they were watching.
Well, it seems we've found the answer to that at least. Or at least one answer. We should probably let the constable know about this entrance.
Yes.
All right. So you guys you head back into town, and as you come to the middle of the town, um, right about here in front of, almost right in front of, just north of the inn and the tavern, in the middle of the road, you see a large open black gaping hole in the road, and that is where the cave-in had happened. The villagers have since put up sticks. They've driven stakes into the ground around it, and they've wrapped rope around it um, uh, to try and
Let's
make
give
sure
that a
that no
wide
one
berth.
stays around it or goes near it.
Let's give that hole a wide berth. I think we've been in there enough for one night.
You see quite a few people um, on the near the surrounding villages still, or buildings around, like where the area of the hole is, like quite a few people sitting on the porch of the Helmet High Sun, sitting on the tavern, the inn. They're all just kind of still lingering around. A lot of murmured gossip and talk. People are the people are here are just still in shock, and they're just kind of staring at this thing that happened in their town. Um, just a lot of rumors. What could have happened? What caused this? What's down there? The people that were brought out.
What was that?
Do I?
Oh, I heard something go doot. I didn't know what it was. Oh, something on my end. No, never mind.
Yeah. So you
Unfamiliar
guys
computer basis.
see all these people just kind of sitting around wide-eyed, looking at the hole, whispering to each other. They see your group coming down. And having dug in a lot of the dirt, Kendra, you especially, you are pretty covered in a lot of dirt as well from having helped dig those people out. And some of them recognize that you are the ones down there, and you see them kind of start whispering to each other, and a couple of them will wave at you and give nods of gratitude. And
Are there any guards nearby the hole?
uh, there's like a couple older gentlemen. You see them not really near the hole, but they are more towards where the buildings are. And, anytime they see someone getting close to the hole, you see them kind of stand up a bit and they're, no, move along. This is not safe, not a safe area. And they kind of usher the people around the hole.
Approaching one of those gentlemen. Sir, we've found another entrance to that area below the ground. Can you let the there's a doorway leading down there in the north quarry?
In the northern quarry.
Yes, there's a door. That's how we came back to the surface. There's another passage down there in the north quarry. You may want to have men posted there or sealed off.
All right. And you see this younger gentleman. He turns around. He kind of does this two-fingered wave to someone behind him. He's like, hey, come watch this spot. And he scurries off, and you see him running down towards the road. And you see him head towards where the area that the constables were staying at. And he heads down that way.
The butcher complex.
Yes.
At any rate, I'm not sure there's much more we can do tonight or this morning, it would seem. Any thoughts on where we should go, or if we should maybe just retire for a bit?
I'm tired. I need to wash up.
I'm sure a relaxing night. Get some food, perhaps. Liam's always down for a beverage. We know that.
Liam steps up. I'll buy.
Right on cue.
You might want to buy some new clothes for yourself first.
He looks down at himself and he's like, "What?"
Liam, I'm not sure this look is for you.
Well, it was never intended for me, but sometimes things happen. And he just kind of eyes Kendra as he walks straight for the inn, still keeping eye until he goes into the doors.
Watch the door.
All right. You guys headed into the inn for the night?
Yes, I think. Unless anyone else has any other suggestions.
I'm okay with that. I feel like we have spent an eternity underground.
Oh, I'm sure it won't be the last, the way things are going.
All
At least
right.
there weren't any necromancers this time.
I will meet you inside. I'm just gonna sit and journal for a bit first. But I'll be right in.
All right. So the rest of you are headed into the inn.
Yes, sure. Slick will go behind the inn to check on our borrowed cart for the moment while it's just to make sure it's still there.
All right. So Kendra, Rowan, and Liam, you guys head into the inn, and Rowan and Kendra, when you guys step inside, you hear a hail of "Hey!" and some clapping that happens, and um, quite a crowd has gathered there. A lot of the townspeople are just they have drinks, there's food splayed about. You see Kaylessa bustling between tables, and she sees you guys come in. She's like, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And she waves you over and uh, scurries several people out of a table, sets down, has a food spread set down. She's like, for the heroes of the day, come on. And
Isn't the inn the big one on the left?
yes, yep. And
That was this one over here.
No, that's the tavern.
tavern.
Isn't it the same thing?
No.
Oh,
Yeah, so she directs you guys to a table and has food spread out for you, and she and Gamela try and for the most part try and keep your area clear, but every now and then people will come up and just pat you on the back and give you a thanks, and things like that. Sora, what are you doing?
I am sitting right next to the hole and just writing just everything that happened underground.
All right. So as you're sitting there, you hear a lot of crowd noises, a lot of yeah, cheering and stuff coming from the inn. You hear it coming from the tavern across the street. Every now and then, someone will kind of pass by, giving a wide berth to the hole, and they'll kind of tip their head towards you, um, and you hear some, gravel crunching, dirt moving as some small steps come up behind you, and uh, you see a small form plop down next to you. And as you look over, you see a small blonde head, big blue eyes look up at you, just smile at you, and you recognize Pell from earlier.
Lieutenant?
The second you say that, this sparkle and gleam just comes into the eyes, and she's just like, Paladin, you did
What
good
is
today.
So did you. So did you. It was a long day, but we did good work, I think.
It was mostly you guys. She kind of kicks her legs in the hole pretty fearlessly.
I don't think it was just us. I think you had a lot to do with it.
Well, I mean, if it hadn't been for me, I was the one leading the game for the night. Half of those kids probably wouldn't have even ended up in the hole, but we got them through it. And I can't really help, if the city's ground is just going to fall out beneath us.
So you said you were playing a game and it happened.
Yeah.
Did you hear anything weird? Or feel anything off?
Yeah. A lot of trembling. The ground shifted beneath us. It almost felt like sand moving beneath you. And then there was just darkness. And things
So,
pelting you in the face.
And you took quite a fall. Are you alright?
I'm all right. Not bad as Braylon. And you see at that point her visage kind of dims a bit and she seems a little sad.
So I heard you going to help your friend be safe from his father.
Braylon's a good kid. You know,
Sorry.
his there's this group here in Red Larch. They call themselves the Believers. They're kind of a big secret deal. Not a lot of people know about them, but you know, we hear things. I hear things, and
I'm
Braylon,
interested. What's your take on the believers?
I don't know. I mean, personally, if the rocks really do have powers, which I don't even know what these rocks are, but they say they listen to the rocks, why aren't they doing anything? I don't know. I've never really given much to that kind of thing. To me, a city, a good town, it's built on the people in it. If the rocks want to help us, well, good on them, but they ain't done nothing for me yet, and the other kids in the town, they kind of look up to me, and I don't know.
Well, I can see why. You're a natural leader.
And she kind of smiles, but kind of hides it, and you see her twiddling her knife kind of in her lap and just toying with it, looking at it, and I don't know much about leadership, but
Well, I found that if you don't know too much about it, but it just kind of happens, it means you're born to do something great, and you're on your way.
she looks up at you and she really has to look far up at you, but great like you.
Oh no, I'm just along for the ride.
I've seen others like you, you know,
You have? Where?
coming through town. Not a lot. I mean, we don't get a lot of your kind, but I have seen a couple. None
What,
of them,
my same color?
no, none of them were as nice or heroic as you guys, you in particular. But oh, that
Hmm.
reminds me. Um, and she kind of smacks her own head. I forgot. Lamura, Priestess Lamura, she was wanting to talk to you. She said if I
Oh,
happened to see you, to let you know to come see her. But
do you know where she might be?
she's at the chapel, and she points up along the ways, a little north.
That way.
I or south. She points south.
All right, Lieutenant. Well, I appreciate your time and your wisdom on the believers.
Well, if you need anything else, me and the other kids, we take care of this town. So you can come to us. Ask any of the kids and they'll find me.
You got it. And if you need anything from us, you just say the word.
You see her kind of smile and shrug her shoulders, and then she kind of does a and scurries off.
Finish jotting some notes down.
So I'm going to have a brief pause if we want to take a quick break because this girl's got to do a bio break real quick. If you guys, Sora, were you planning on going to sleep or something else?
What time of day is it right now?
It's like 5 a.m.
Yeah, I need a nap.
All right. So we'll say all of you guys head into the inn after, getting caught up in the excitement and the uh, victory drinks constantly being bought for you guys. You're eventually able to make it up to your rooms, and we'll say you guys get a long rest in.
Quickly before that,
Yeah.
does the sun start to rise at any point while we're awake?
Yeah, I mean, it would probably be about an hour later.
All right, Kendra stays up to do her sun thing and then goes to sleep.
Okay. Yeah, so Kendra, the rest of you at the table before you head to your respective bedrooms, um, Kendra stands up and, kind of nods. And anyone who's left sees Liam. He'll be the last one there, partaking until the rest of you kind of fade out. And then he heads out the front door and disappears. So,
I'm sorry, Kendra. That's just jolly cooperation to me. That's all I can think of.
all right. So we'll take a quick, just a 5-minute bio break, and then we'll be right back.
Alrighty.
Right.
Right. I like how I can see 4 symbols on the map.
You
What a
totally
new
could.
symbol. I figured, I was like, there's no way that this is truly like on purpose. But I was like, but then again, it's D&D, so you never know. Oh. So now it's just gonna be a thing, I'm sorry.
I mean, I think it's funny that it's basically the same symbols on Flex gauntlets. Just about. Some of them are classical styled alchemical symbols. With a little bit of variation. Oh yeah, long rest.
I like your new backdrop, Maria. Looks so nice in a different room.
What?
So I like the new backdrop for your video.
Oh,
It
hey,
looks so
thank you.
nice in a new room.
I know. This is my kitchen. Ta-da. You don't want to see the rest of it because there are literal like boxes and Rubbermaid bins all right here next to me, and like coffee mugs in pretty much every cabinet because nothing's organized.
I just realized I can't move my chair too much on camera. I'm looking behind me and remembering there's some Twitch not friendly things back there. Oops.
Turn in the chair. Turn in the chair.
We're not streaming right now. You can show up.
Yeah, you can totally turn.
I mean, I don't think you can tell what any of it is.
No,
No.
I can't tell. It's too far. RJ, whatever you're doing, please.
Assuming it's 8-year-olds.
Long rest.
What?
There we go.
I said I'm guessing it's anime girls.
Sure, we'll go with that. I still don't know what to put on that wall behind me, though. I feel like I should put up posters. I rearrange the furniture like every other week.
My dog is doing something very suspicious.
Kendra, it's very dark in your room.
Yeah, I just noticed. The sun went down. Yeah, no, that didn't help.
You know,
Guess, that's what we have to use to sleep on
realize.
the lamp.
It's
So, the other game I'm in has 2 worshippers of Paler characters in the party. And I'm starting to realize, what is it with you sun followers and intense violence?
on that note. Welcome back.
Whatever do you mean?
All right.
Kendra's adorable. I just have to pick on you.
I mean, I'll be honest, and it's like a lot of my RPG games, I tend to be more evil because I'm like, I can't do this shit in real life, so
I know.
like, Fallout. Oh, I just assassinated everyone. It's fine.
All right.
To be fair, I don't know what Liam's goals are, but so far I feel like the least godly of the party. Hey, there's stuff here. Oh, we shouldn't take that. It's an offering. Well, they're not using it.
Oh,
Nice.
so sorry. I snorted. Sorry. That was my whatchamacallit? My
DM screen.
thank you. My DM screen. It's bad when the DM has no words. Just falling over and knocking everything over. Okay. All right. So welcome back. You guys awake. It is midday by this point. So it's about, let's say you guys probably went to bed around 6 o'clock. So
That'd be 2 in the afternoon.
2 in the
if we had an hour
afternoon.
sleep.
Thank you. So it's about 2 in the afternoon. You guys wake up, and the town, you notice, is quite calmed at this point. It's pretty empty in the street with the normal red larchers. If you look around the area where the hole is, you can you see some stragglers, but they mostly look. You can kind of tell they're not necessarily local. They're not local people. You can tell by their clothes. They look like they're kind of people that have been coming through, since this is a big merchant route. People that are kind of giving it a wide berth and looking worriedly towards it, but keeping a wide berth around it. And for the most part, most of the townsfolk seem to be taking the day and kind of resting as well. You guys gonna head down to the main inn area?
Yeah.
Sure.
All right. So you
Oh,
guys.
I know it's after the fact, but I forgot to mention it. Over the course of long rests, would you allow Flick and her various specialties of tool working to convert parts from 2 different light crossbows to a hand crossbow?
Yes.
I have parts, I have lots of tools and proficiencies.
Yeah. Do you want to make a? Man, I don't even know what to say on that. Let's say.
I just want to make a hand crossbow out of 2 light crossbows.
I'm
I figured
convinced
there should
Flick
be enough
doesn't
parts
sleep.
there.
Okay.
Flick's
Just
an insane cat person.
out of 2 crossbows, let's roll 2 d20s for me.
It reminds me of Critical Role. It's like, do a tinkering check.
14 and 14.
Okay, and you can add your proficiency to them.
16 and 16 then.
Okay, yeah, you are absolutely able to do so.
All right. There's lots of scraping and hammering noises through the night. Mostly muffled. Or through the early morning.
All right. So you guys congregate down into the main inn area of the Swinging Sword Inn, and you see Kaylessa looking quite tired, but as soon as she sees you, she nods with a smile and seems to light up a bit, and you see her disappear into the back. But just before she does, she's like, "Have a seat, I'll bring you breakfast." And disappears into the back.
Thank you, Carlissa.
So you guys take a seat at your usual table. She brings out, a good spread of food for you. And you guys are able to fill your bellies, feel warmed by it. There's quite a few local folk that still kind of stray in there and some others. You see quite a few travelers, sitting at their own tables. Some have congregated together and are talking. Um, and yeah.
Not used to all this attention.
Now then, we should likely discuss what our next course of action is. Seems we've handled whatever that was below the town, although there is still that room with the stones. I know there's still the case of the bandits outside of town as well.
So we have the bandits and then the skull thing in the tree.
That's what I was referring to, the skull nailed to a tree with a black arrow.
Gotcha.
Unless we can find more information about whatever that was below the town.
Yeah, as you guys are eating, you can hear a lot of the conversation going on around you, and you do realize a lot of it is concerning the whole, rumors, speculation, what could have caused it. Was this magic? Was this possibly uh, the work of the dark magic that everyone's kind of been, discussing over the last several weeks, months? Um, a lot of theories that people have come up with, and there's just a lot of murmuring.
Do you remember when we were fighting the necromancer and there was a rumble in the room and he basically said, this is your fault, you have no idea what's going on. I wonder if that rumble was actually that cave-in.
The necromancer at Lance Rock or the man beneath the town?
Well, the man beneath the town with the stones.
I don't think he was a necromancer.
I just misspoke, I'm sorry.
Yes, there may be some tie to whatever magic was in that room may have been tied to it. We can't say for sure without further investigation, but looking at the size of that cave, the ceiling may have just been weak as well, so any kind of shifting would have caused problems with the integrity. It didn't look like that. In what was falling, Kendra, you were first there. Did it look like mostly stones that fell and caved in, or was it mostly dirt?
If I recall correctly, it was mostly dirt and crushed stone that was pounded down by carts from the road. So everything from where we were
that.
standing.
Yeah, so I'm guessing that whatever is causing the shaking probably just shook whatever was holding that part of the road loose. Still doesn't explain what caused the earth to shake, though. Oop.
It might have also just been a fluke.
You were right,
There
Kendra,
seems to be a lot of weird occurrences with weather based on the townspeople's. They keep bringing up different events. They definitely seem to believe the dragons have something to do with it.
I'm not certain about anything with the dragons. Did they say there was something with the dragons recently?
No. Just seems that kind of feeds their tales of what's happening around here. I do believe, I do believe these believers, they need some more investigating because I kind of feel like maybe they could be involved with it.
I
We
just
could
wonder.
check in with. Oop.
I just wondered to what degree. I was talking to Pell last night. I
Oh,
mean,
you saw Pell.
I did. Last night, this morning, time. Um, yeah, and she was talking about the believers and how she doesn't really believe that the rocks do anything at all. But whether that be the mind of a child or the truth, who knows? She seems to know what she's talking about, though.
At the very least, it's another lead to someone who may have a good ear to ear to the ground in the town, who could point us towards something that may aid us. So it may be prudent to at least speak with them first.
Did Pell tell you anything else?
Oh, just that she didn't believe the rocks. But they didn't do anything for her. She did say that someone is looking for me, so I should do that first before we venture anyone else.
For you?
Hmm.
Hmm.
So I do need to go to the church momentarily.
It may be good to make that stop, see if we can get more information. I'd like to check in with our friend the constable, see if he's gotten any more information out of the old man underground.
Should we maybe split up? You could go to the constable, and if Sora's open to it, will go with them to the church.
I'm not opposed to splitting up for that. Kendra, any thoughts?
Hmm. I'm a tad bit torn. I don't want you to go off alone, but I'd also like to see the church.
Yeah, I'll just be visiting the constable, and I'll be along shortly. You wouldn't have to worry about me too terribly much.
Maybe
Oh,
it's
I'm
funny,
honestly
maybe we
admitting,
can walk together.
I don't think I don't think our chat with the constable will take too terribly long. We may be able to find him first and move to the church if we want to do that route.
All right.
That's fine.
All right, then we should probably make our way there. But first, Kilasa, dear,
Calessa's across the room and setting down some food for a group of people, and she hears her name from far across the room, looks up towards you. Hey!
yes, I just for our travels, I'm hoping if you have a small keg of a simple ale that I could carry with us, I would find use for it, and of course I could pay.
Like a full keg!
Uh, if you've got a smaller cask, maybe not a keg that would serve the whole room, but just something portable.
I'd fix you up! And she scurries away into the back. And a few minutes later, she'll come out and she just has a flask that she brings up. Is this the size you were looking for?
Sure, that'd be good. If you might have two more of those, three would be about what I'm looking for of that size.
Do you plan on doing a lot of drinking on the road?
That or there are medicinal purposes for it as well.
Ah. She
It's
kind
just
of
best not to ask.
pats you on the back and then scurries off towards the back and comes back a few minutes later and she brings two more. All right.
Not all of us can draw healing from the gods, Kendra.
Not always from the gods. It's also medicine.
Medicine does happen to be my specialty, and there are plenty of uses for this as well. Thank you, Kilasa. What do I owe you?
Ah, these usually run about 5 copper pieces each, so 15 copper.
Certainly, here for the lot.
And she nods and walks away.
I gotta do math, breaking down silver. But how much do those weigh so I can add them?
Ooh, like a quarter of a pound, probably.
I just hit ignore coin weight on my character because I
Oh,
don't
I'm not
want
asking about the coins. I'm asking about the flask.
Yeah,
Oh,
well, I'd say like a half a pound, we'll say.
Sure. Come on, Beyond. I mean, I'm all set. I'm just adding things in. So.
Hmm. All right, so
Yeah, maybe shall we head to the constable?
all right,
Sure, let's go that way.
so you guys make your way south, skirting around the large kind of hole where they've quartered it off with some rope and stakes, which just reaches just to the edge of the inn, the northern edge, and you guys make your way south. You don't even get all the way towards the butcher area and where the constable lives before you see one of the deputies walking up and, hey, you guys are
Yes.
finally
Good
awake.
morning.
Morning or afternoon.
We didn't exactly get much sleep last night.
I expect not much of us did. Are you looking for
We were wondering
Harbuck?
if yes, we were wondering if you had or or Harbuck had gotten any information out of the old man.
Uh, Not much. Baragussis is kind of just. There's not much going on up there, to be honest, but he's sleeping right now. Do we need to wake him up?
No, I don't think we're in an urgent hurry for that. I was just wondering if you might have gotten anything from him in the time that we were indisposed.
No, not yet. I mean, the constable tried getting some stuff out of him, but he kind of passed out on us like 3 times. So we just left him in there. Probably needs to sleep it off for a bit. He kept saying stuff about bodies and blood, and we couldn't make anything of it.
We might pay him a visit later, but let him rest for now so we can deal with him properly.
All right, well, just make sure either one of the deputies or the constable are there when you do talk to him.
Of course.
And the deputy walks off.
And I suppose that answers my questions for the moment. We can always pay him a visit later. He's not going anywhere, and if he does manage to go somewhere, we'll have a lead just the same.
I'm sure a good talk would be just what he needs.
Now, I suppose our next stop is the church. I believe we're following you for that, Sora.
Right, I believe it was more south.
All right. So at this point, it's actually a little bit north of where you guys are. Um, so
Is it
the,
the blue building?
it's right
Oh,
next door to the inn, essentially. So yep, right there. So you guys head back towards that area, and when you come to it, what you see is it looks like a grand stone mansion from the front of it. It's a little offset. It doesn't quite fit the environment of the rest of them, but it's made of big wooden, big stone blocks that have been pieced together um, very carefully. You can tell a lot of love and hard work was put into it. Two wide wooden doors are painted with symbols of many, many gods and religions along both sides. Both of the doors, the time that you've been in Red Larch, you've noticed that they've been open this entire time. Um, as you guys step inside, you notice that it's mostly a plain chapel. Like the inside is just one wide, expansive opening, and it seems fairly plain on the inside. There are pews along the way as you with a single aisle up the front and then along the sides, and then there is a singular stone altar at the opposite end with some stained glass along the backside. There is a door off to the left, kind of off to the side, um, that you see a figure come out of. It's a looks like a young woman, or middle-aged woman, I would say, and she has a white robe on with some gold trim. She has darker skin, and she walks out, kind of sees some of the people in the pew and walks up, and you see her, you know, speak quietly to some of them, pray with them. And as she notices you guys enter, are you all headed in there?
I am, yes.
I'm heading in, but I'm gonna like stay back from Sora, kind of like letting her go ahead.
Okay. So as you guys
Flick is
come
just,
in,
at this point, Flick is just along for the ride. She has no inherent investiture in anything religious, no matter how many gods are on the door.
yeah, Liam stays back with Rowan. He kind of steps inside, kind of pauses for a moment, steps out a bit as he notices Rowan go off to the back. He hesitates a moment and then kind of ducks in and stands next to her and just kind of tries to be a shadow in the back of the room. Um,
I kind of bend down to Kendra and be like, they've got something for everyone here.
I would
yeah,
hope so. They're a church.
yeah,
I'm picturing the church from Futurama where they just worship everyone and no one at the same time.
yeah. As you notice on the stained glass along the backside, there's a singular one and two along straight ones along the side, and each of them has symbols, much as like you saw on the doorway, and they represent very as many religions and gods that you can have ever seen. Probably some you don't even recognize. Um, Sora, as you make your way forward a bit, the woman that was seen with a couple of the others praying looks up and almost as if she knew you were there, and she smiles at you, and she stands and walks towards you, and she comes up and she bows her head, says,
I do the same.
welcome, welcome to the All Faith Shrine.
The all faith shrine?
All faith. Anyone may come here and worship whichever god they choose. My name is Lemira Alderak. I am a priestess here. Many priests and priestesses travel through here, but only two may stay here at a time. We tend to each take our stay here, but I've kind of grown fond of Red Larch, so I come here quite often. But you,
Sorry.
you're new to this town.
I am, yes. The group and I, we were just walking through, so you say, and come to do a little bit of business in town.
Is that all you're here for?
I'm not sure. How do you mean?
I sense there's more reason you've come here. I'm sure you probably got my message from Pell that I was looking for you, but I think you're here for more than just a traveler. And I know your kind. I'm well familiar with your kind. I'm not here to make you uncomfortable. But if there was anything you needed to talk about, I'm here for you.
I suppose you're right that I'm not just a traveler. I think there's a lot going on.
There is.
And it's been interesting, to say the least.
I think there's a lot going on. And she reaches forward and reaches up and points, just kind of rests her finger right in the middle of your forehead. Possibly more than is necessary.
Maybe we talk in private.
You've come to the All Faith Shrine. There's no place more private than here. And as she says that, you kind of see one of her hands go like this, and you feel like almost a shimmer of air vacuuming around you. And it still feels normal, but any kind of, open air sound, whispers, murmurings that you've heard previously echoing off the stone has turned kind of muffled.
Flick is
Impressive.
just going to step away, even though she's doing the silence thing. Back outside.
Yes. Suppose I'm not sure what my purpose is anymore. I have no clan. I'm too curious to be a part of my own. And so I travel and learn. And sometimes I wonder if it's selfish to be living the life I do
She
and
listens.
not be with, well, it's not like I had a choice anyway. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Now I just try and help who I can, and I've found companions that help in that journey and ease the weight, so to speak. But
It is the
so
burden of Dragonborn, that you carry with you. Your clan. You miss them. They're your family.
But are they still my family after I've been exiled?
What is your clan name?
Nemonis.
And she nods her head knowingly as if she already knew the answer. Your clan name, Sora Nemonis. It's considered among the Silver Blood clans as meaning deeply rooted, leaning towards the ideal of a distinguished clan that lives to sustain itself and grow strong and proud amongst its brethren. It's rooted in family. Does that sound about right?
Absolutely.
Well, however, there is an older, more ancient meaning to the name Nemonis that you may not know. And as she's speaking, you briefly see her eyes flash a bit gold. Nemonis is a much older, more ancient meaning to the name. It is the name of a tree that used to grow here and there in the age long past this one. This tree was considered sacred among dragonkind and protected as such, for it had a very unusual trait. When the first whispers of autumn wind would sweep across its branches, the Nemonis tree would send out a humming call across the air. It would travel for miles. Its song would vibrate along the branches of all trees and all varieties, rattling the branches as it passed over, checking stability and girth. Any young tree or sapling that was weak or struggling to survive would bend to the song, adding nothing to its hum across the air but a feeble cry of thin roots pulling up. When the song would return to the Nemonis, and it heard the cry of the weaker tree, it would then do something quite extraordinary. It would shrivel up its own roots, forcing all its life and energy into the tip of the tallest branch where a single white bloom would emerge, its petals like that of dragon wings. And as the Nemonis wilted and died, it would send out its song one last time. Its single bloom carried away on the humming to the weaker tree where it would fall and be born anew amidst the feeble roots, knitting itself with the sapling's trunk and branches, adding strength and girth, enough for the sapling to survive the winter. And once that weak tree was strong enough to survive on its own, another single white flower with dragon-like petals would bloom from the tallest branch and be carried away by the wind to its next resting place where the Nemonis tree would grow anew. So you see, Dragonborn, not all are meant to remain rooted where they are planted. Some are meant to leave their roots behind and be knitted to those who need them the most. And this, Sora Nemonis, is the legacy of your given name. And it is in this legacy that Bahamut guides you. For I sense in your heart you know the path you wish to take. And her eyes flash gold again. The oath you wish to commit yourself to.
I do.
I think you've known it in your heart for quite a while, actually.
Can we can drop the walls.
And you just see her flick a hand unassumingly, and the whispers and the rush of air kind of come back to you, the echoing, the reverberating along the stone walls. If you wish to do it, I, Priestess Lamera Auderak, and she steps forward and takes your hand. I know the things you go through. And she looks you straight in the eye, and you see those eyes flash gold again. Take heart in the legacy and form the path that you know you need to take. Let Bahamut guide you.
I will take this oath.
And she smiles warmly and says, "Very well." She steps back a bit, and she kind of looks to your friends in the back and uh, just gives a brief smile and then looks back towards you. Take hold of your shield and your sword and take a knee.
Okay. Kind of hard to roleplay when you don't have
Yeah.
access.
So the rest of you see Sora um, draw out her great sword and her shield, and she takes a knee and puts the shield down and the sword as she kneels before this priestess. And she says, you can hear her at this point. And even though she's still speaking quite softly, her voice kind of reverberates and fills the chapel. And even those that were in the pews and, praying before, they've stilled and now are watching um, this kind of unusual event happening as the priestess stands before you and rests a hand on the pommel of your sword and says, "Do you, Sora Nemonis, swear to kindle the light through your acts of mercy, kindness, and forgiveness? Do you kindle the light of hope in the world, beating back despair?
I do.
And do you swear to shelter the light where there is good and beauty and love and laughter in the world? You, Sora, stand against the wickedness that would swallow it. Where life flourishes, you stand against the forces that would render it barren. Do you swear to this?
I swear.
Do you swear to preserve your own light?" And she smiles, like almost like a private smile that you see her giving to you. to delight in song and laughter, in beauty and art. For if you allow the light to die in your own heart, you cannot preserve it in the world.
I swear.
And lastly, do you swear to be the light, to be a glorious beacon for all who live in despair? Let the light of your joy and courage shine forth in all your deeds.
I swear.
Then and at this point, she raises her head and speaks to the rest of the congregation as well, to anyone else in there, including your friends at the back. And she says, I, Lamura Alderak, a priestess of all faiths, bear witness and hold this paladin to their oath of the ancients. May it be inscribed on their very soul, as it is written in Bahamut's heart. And she rests a hand on your head then, and then steps back.
I turn to my friends and just kind of like smile, like,
And as the rest of you
Congratulations, no idea.
see her kind of or see them turn around and look at the rest of you, you kind of see almost it's not a glowing, but the light from the coming through the stained glass frames them a bit. And it just looks a little ethereal at this point.
I give a knowing return smile of kind of understanding what has transpired as I'm holding my own amulet around my neck. Understand the taking of oaths.
And in that moment, you hear Liam, who holds up a flask of his own. You don't know where it came from, but he just says, "Here, here!"
I suppose it could have been more respectful, but here.
And
I
Liam,
just
without
kinda
even
look
looking,
around. Yeah. Just look around like, oh god.
you hear a chuckle behind you, and um, Lemura just kind of looks at you and rests a hand on your armored arm and says, she kind of steps a little closer to you again, and this is a new path for you, and I am so very proud of you. Your name has been forgotten in the folds of history. I look forward to where you take it. And then she steps away and walks to the front of the chapel and takes a knee and just starts praying.
As she walks away, I'll say thank you. And I will bow my head at the table and turn around and walk out.
All right. So,
When
Sora.
Sora walks up to me or towards me, um, I look at them and say, I know we haven't known each other very long, and I understand the importance of such a event. May I give you a hug?
You may.
How tall are you?
I'm like 7 feet
7
tall.
feet.
Okay, so I'm like grabbing your waist.
I'm
Right.
kind of curious what everybody in the party's heights are now.
I'm 5'8".
I'm
Uh,
5'7".
Let me see.
Liam is
Kind of
Liam-
5'9".
Yeah. I'm
Flick is
7.
short. Flick
Okay,
is
so I'm like
5'3".
right at your right at your sternum, basically, whatever.
Yeah. Which is fun because I'm like 5 feet tall in real life. So, what's another 2 feet?
But
Right.
so Sora's 7 foot what?
I'm 7 foot even.
Oh, she's almost 2 feet taller than Flick.
Yeah.
5'3".
Oh, the irony! You're clearly probably the shortest in real life, but yet the tallest in the game. I see how this is.
Yeah. I was like, oh, Dragonborn, tall. That's why stealth sucks because I have disadvantage on stealth because I'm tall. And
Okay,
also,
so it's not that huge of a difference, though. So
yeah,
You could have been a doctor or a furbolg.
that's true.
I just give you a hug.
I hug back. I suppose we have a lot to this. I think I'm ready to do that. I think I've
Yes,
kept too many secrets.
we all should find a time to sit down and share, I feel. But it might be best to wait until Liam is slightly less distracted.
Is that the flask?
I don't want to hear stories when not everybody's here.
Yeah.
Liam just raises his head and he's like, I mean, this sounds like celebration time to me. We just, we destroyed a necromancer. We destroyed some evil guy in the pits of whatever. And now, Sora's just been touched by some godly light. This sounds like a victory. Let's go have some drinks and laughs and just live.
To the tavern, then?
To the tavern.
The amount of drinking we have done in this town.
We're clearing it out.
You have done in this town.
Look, you're keeping the economy going.
Man,
No.
Well, and we have a hole in their street.
Yeah.
We have to help them. Support small businesses. Shop local.
No.
Yeah.
This town is used to a lot of traffic, like merchant traffic coming through. It's a central location. This is like a main road and thoroughfare from the south to the north. So they keep a lot of alcohol on hand. All right, so you guys all head to the tavern.
You all head along. I had a question for Lumilla here. So I'll be with you in just a moment. So Lumilla's back at the front of the church.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's knelt down and praying.
Going back in, Flick will stand close but respectable distance until she's addressed.
You get a sense that she notices you're there waiting for her, and so within seconds of you perching next to her, she arises, kind of brushes down her cloak, and then turns and with hands folded before her. Is there something you wish to be addressed as well?
Yes, I find that those of the faith, and especially those of many faiths, as such a place like this, are often well versed in old gods and other old stories. I was wondering if you might have had any word about something called the Bessilmer meteor.
I'll be honest with you. I don't know much on history. The gods, yes. But mostly the ones that created the heavens, not that fell from the heavens. So I am sorry, but I don't know what it is you speak of.
I thank you for your time. It seemed like, well, it could never hurt to ask. True.
No, never. Should you need
Again, thank
anything,
you for your time and thank you for helping our friend.
she'll help herself. And she nods and walks to a fellow patron off to the side.
I will take my leave then and rejoin my companions at the tavern. It seems where they were headed.
All right. So you guys head into the tavern. The Helm at High Sun. Um, Flick, as you walk into the helm, almost immediately you see someone who was kind of standing off to the side. Uh, and he was kind of standing near where the rest of your group was sitting at a table. And as soon as he sees you coming through the door, he's like, ah. And he walks up to you and says, I was hoping you were going to arrive. And he holds out a small piece of paper and says, this came for you from Waterdeep.
Really, it's been some time since I was there. Did you get a look at who passed it to you?
Oh no, it came in on the most recent cart that came up from the merchants. And he
Ah, well, thank you. Be sure to look it over.
and he kind of stands there and
Yes,
stares at you for a moment. And holds his hand
wait,
out.
yes, for post. Here's a silver coin that should cover it.
And he takes the silver and he's like, yep, that'll do it. And he bolts right out.
They do say silence is golden, after all. So, look, we'll pocket the note for the moment, but go to rejoin the party.
All right. So you rejoin the party, and there's already, a round of drinks that Liam is paying for. Um, well, he attempted to pay for it, but there are other patrons around the room that know and have heard of what you guys did. So you're covered for the night. Or the day. You don't have any need to pay for your drinks for this day for sure. And every now and then you'll have people coming up to you and, asking to hear the story of how you came down there, and the necromancer and what was that like. And people just, they like to hear all the tales. And there's a lot of rumors that go around the city, anyways, especially being a main road. So you get a lot of attention for sure. And then the place is pretty full, even though being midday. There's not a lot of the local workers. The businesses are not doing anything today due to the tragedy of what happened yesterday. So everyone's, kind of filed into the two main taverns. They're local social spots and drinking spots of where they go to converse.
I don't think it was that much of a tragedy. Nobody important died. At least not that we're aware of.
What's your definition of important?
Well, we haven't met anyone that we're missing so far, have we?
You're not wrong.
While no one died, it was a traumatic experience for a lot of the children and a lot of people here, so Could be seen as a way to get their minds off of it, to help self-heal.
Fair enough, but adversity does breed strength, and we met someone who shows good promise for the town in Deer Pell there, I believe.
She took quite a liking to you, Sora.
She's a good kid. She's definitely a born leader and doesn't. It was interesting. She was talking about not really knowing what that means and what it is to be a leader. And I'm like, if you don't know what that means, then you're already one. And she's got a bright future ahead of her. Beginning to like this town.
Ah, I admit it's growing on me as well, but let's try to not put too many holes in it.
Speaking of, I had an idea. Sure, it might be able to
Oh,
pass by the constable. You know
well,
our lovely dear friend, Whalver. How we all just loved the dude.
The dude.
some more than others.
You know, in order to sell wagons, you need a road that's crossable. And he seemed to have a lot of lumber. I feel like we could get the constable to talk him into at least covering the hole by using his lumber and spinning it in a way that benefits him.
Given
Like,
where the entrance to that cave was, I'm sure it wouldn't be too difficult to press him for what we need.
you saying like a toll bridge?
Just,
No,
you
I'm just
know,
saying we take.
yeah, no, just like covering the hole with making a temporary cover or something to keep people from falling in. And, you know, it uses a little bit of his lumber in the process.
Well, if we can get them to use the quarry again, they can source proper supports for it sooner or later.
It's all worth a conversation. Kendra, you're awfully quiet.
Just been thinking about where all of this is even coming from. There's just first the necromancer, stupid rock, now a cult under the city. Just where is it coming from? Where is it going? How can it be stopped? How many more people will get hurt? It's a lot to think about.
True, and there's quite a lot going on. But that's why we need to keep searching for information, is it not?
I suppose. I also sort of tuned out when you started talking about that, we'll call him a charlatan.
What, the poor constable? He's not that bad.
No, the one that thought it'd be funny to give me a private show of all the wagons.
He
Ah,
who
yes.
shall
Would you
not
like to
be
borrow my
named.
Would you like to borrow my cauldron?
No, if anything happens again, then I didn't do anything. The fire started on its own.
Yes, we'll keep that in mind around any fires.
But as for
As
now,
things stand,
There were two other things that we were supposed to be looking at, yes? Or at least one other thing.
I know of the instance in the woods with the skull and the black arrow, and probably more bandits. And usually, when bandits are that showy, they're trying to prove something. It might be tied to this cult.
Perhaps.
And I'm sure they could use a little bit of accidental fire as well.
Only a tad bit. I believe that'd be a good start for what to do
Yeah,
next.
Kendra, I know.
Perhaps we could
Let's
get
go set
information
some
from them.
fire.
Pardon me, say that again.
Come now, you know you enjoy burning the people who cause problems. You
No,
seem
I-
quite good at always having the
I
fire.
do not. I.
Like Liam, and I elbow Liam.
Liam just kind of pulls his borrowed shirt out, like with this serious look on his face, and is just like, and then goes back to drinking.
That was an accident.
As at Kendra's initial outburst, Flick will just pat her on the back. There we go. No more moping. Get angry sometimes.
Oh, it was just a joke.
Yes, that seems to be one lead we can follow, as the situation under the town seems at least calm at the moment, and now that we know where those entrances are, the constable can keep an eye on anyone trying to get in there.
Okay, real life though, I think Mary Gary needs to go.
Yeah.
I do.
All right.
What's up?
I need
It's-
to.
Past Maria trying to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Unpack and assemble furniture, unfortunately.
So we'll say for the end here, we'll say the group. You know, you guys are just kind of enjoying your time at the inn, taking a rest day, so to speak, and getting a lot of accolades, a lot of pats on the back in the inn. You're not having to pay for anything today. Even people passing through have heard, rumors of what's going on, and they want to hear the story. So even more food and drinks, more than you can even consume, are placed before you, and you constantly have a running stream of people coming up wanting to hear the stories and everything to take with them even on their travels. So that's where we'll leave you guys.
You
And
melted culprit.
yeah, and then we'll pick up in 2 weeks unless everyone is feeling has availability next Saturday. I don't know what that looks like for everyone.
What is
Next
next
Saturday,
Saturday?
I'm stuck working until 9:30 p.m. because
Okay.
work is really with mind.
That's
Okay.
okay. All right, so we will see everyone then in 2 weeks.
On the
All right.
first.
Alright.
Till next
On
time.
the first, yep.
On the first.
See you guys
All
next
right.
month.
You guys have a good rest of your day.
You
You
too.
too. Night,
Take
guys.
care. See you guys.